Hey everybody, it's Ziz here, and this is a quick look at the Druid in Crowfall. That's right, they just added the Druid. This is my second match playing the Druid right here, and I'm just going to walk you through some of the stuff that's going on so you can see, what's changed in the game, maybe if you haven't been following it as closely as me. We'll take a look at this new class, archetype, and it's got a lot of really awesome, interesting features. You see right there, I'm like teleporting forward. That's my right mouse button, and it's super quick and super smooth. The game has really improved on its performance, not just FPS, even though you can see me up in the 80s and 90s and stuff, but just the responsiveness. There's actually a huge update. If you go to the website, they just talked about some updates and stuff they did, but you can really see it in that right click teleport thingy I'm doing. The camera zooms in, it just looks really good, and it feels really smooth, and it feels like a game for 2016. Now, not every ability is like that, but some of them, they're starting to get there. So here we are. This is the Hunger Dome. Remember, this isn't what the game is going to be at launch. This is just like a test environment, right? They're making the game, they're making these systems, so they're throwing together these different sort of environments, little kind of battlegrounds for us to practice in and play so we can see how stuff works. But this isn't the full game by far. But the way it happens, you just jump in the game, you have a group of people, and you can find loot chests around, you can kill these monsters and get loot, but we're just getting some loot, we're equipping it, we're moving around, and it is kind of like as like you would expect, a Hunger Dome. It's a dome shape that closes in around you and it forces everybody into the middle of the map, kind of like H1Z1 has there. Now, talk about the Druids specifically. If you look at the bottom of my screen, there's two different bars I toggle between. Right now, this is the damage bar, and you can go and read about all the abilities, specifically exactly what they do, but you can see you can switch back and forth. The default is the T key, and when you're in healing mode like I am right now, left clicking drops these healing orbs. You can drop them all over, people can run over them, get healing, and it's a really fun mechanic. It's something we don't have in the game with any other archetype right now. This sort of like drop it and like running over adds a lot of really interesting gameplay. Now, if you look, what just happened is I dropped a bunch of orbs, I switched to my damage train, I pushed number 4, and that's an AoE. What it did is it changed all my damage orbs to DPS orbs. It just happened again right there. You seen they blow up. And the thing is, your group is the only one that can see your healing orbs, but then when you change them to the damage one, you can see them for a couple of seconds, and then boom, they blow up and do a ton of damage. And there's a lot of good fun fights in this Hunger Dome match where all of a sudden you'd be running around, you'd be fighting, and then all of a sudden an enemy Druid would change their orbs and it would just blow up for a ton of damage. I think that actually happens at the end of this match. We just get exploded. Maybe that was my first match, but it's pretty crazy. Again, right clicking there. Other really cool notable things, the number 1 is a snare, but not only a snare, it slows down characters' abilities and their recharge times and stuff like that. Number 4 wasn't just an AoE kind of healing rain. The number 3 is like a pulse, like you charge it up, kind of like a meteor for the Confessor, but instead of doing damage, it does healing. This archetype is actually really fun. I usually don't play casters, I usually don't play healers, but the fact you can switch back and forth, how fluid and smooth it is, I kind of use new archetypes when they get introduced as a benchmark, right? They talk about all these changes they're making and the direction they want the game to go, and sometimes it's kind of hard to change what happens in the past, but this archetype really kind of shows you how dynamic and fluid they want all the archetypes to be. So here we are, we're running up on a group, I start throwing down my healing orbs in the middle of them, and I'm like kind of hiding behind this tree a little bit so they don't see me, and then I'm going to switch over here and you'll see a ton of damage. Put the number 4 down and then boom, it's doing like 3,000-4,000 per person per hit, and I had like 6 orbs down there. So it's just a huge drop of damage if you can get people to stay in the area. So there's definitely probably going to be some balancing around that. I don't know if it's going to stay the way it is, because I believe it's the end of this fight, me and Arcade there, the guy next to me, we got blown up for like 50k damage instantly. But this is a pretty fun fight, really fun, lots of abilities. I only played this archetype just a couple of matches, and there's so much to it. It's so much more interesting. If you watched any of the earlier videos, if you played the game earlier, Some of those were pretty basic. The champion, the knight, they have some pretty basic features. They don't have as many abilities. You can see there in the background, the druid is charging up this like spirit bear that goes out. There's just so much stuff to do, so many ways that you can play this character, and I feel like it's adding a lot of depth to the game that we haven't had before. People talking in chat about like, how does this work? What do these do? People don't even realize what the orbs do, right? And it just came out. I mean, it's not like they're, you know, bad players per se, but it's interesting mechanics that is adding depth to the game and gives you a lot of options as you're playing. I love this archetype. You can just dash around like this with your right click blink ability. It's super fun. Lots of mobility. You see me just kind of like circling around the fight, trying to throw down AoE, trying to throw down heals for my teammates. Switching to DPS, they have an electric tornado you'll see me use here in just a moment, which is really fun. It has a great sound effect to it as well. It's a lot of fun to play, and I hope that every archetype gets this same sort of work that the druid has, right? Like, they're using their systems more, they're hiring more people that are getting used to the systems they have, and they're getting better at making the abilities and making the game right. So stuff gets better as they go along, and you can definitely tell in the druid. I mean, its animations are sweet, it's tight, it's fluid, it's fast. You can't use every ability while you're moving. I mean, even most of them you're rooted, and this is a caster, so it's not really I wouldn't expect you to be able to move around with every ability, but there's something you can. You can move while you're throwing out your healing orbs. You can move around and then like get it placed where you want, and then when you let go your mouse button, your character stops for a second to drop them, but then you can start moving again, right? So it's only just for like half a second while you drop the orb that you stop for a second. It'd be nice if maybe you didn't stop completely. You know, maybe if you could just like move at half speed or something. But it's just super smooth, super fluid here. Most of our team died during that engagement. It looked really promising to start. Me and Arcade, and I think one other person already took off. Here, I'm trying to, we're trying to get away, and I'm trying to heal Arcade and heal myself. But at the same time, an interesting thing with the Druid is that in the bottom bar, in the bottom middle, ESS, Essence, when you're doing healing, it builds up that Essence bar. And if it gets too high, boom, see right there, I just started taking burn damage. So now I gotta switch to my DPS tray, and I gotta dump essence. I'm trying to get rid of essence, right? I'm trying to left mouse click and it gets rid of a little bit, and I'm trying to like figure out abilities I can use just to dump essence so I don't kill myself. Playing a healer, playing a ranged character, you want to of course try to keep some range, but I'm also kind of a chicken and there's like 6 guys against my buddy, so I'm trying to help them, trying to do some damage, trying to heal. It's a lost cause and I'm just like out of here. And one thing about the Druid, I feel like it has some of the best mobility, right? Like the champion's really good, the confessor's pretty good, but this right mouse button blink teleport thing is so good. It's pretty awesome, which especially usually you think like healers and casters sometimes don't have great mobility, right? Healers especially, I think tons of people, like people who like to heal, are gonna absolutely love this character. The only negative thing I've seen about this chick so far is people don't like how big her hair is, but the fact that her hair bounces around and has physics is actually kind of cool in itself. So people are chasing me and I'm thinking I'm gonna drop some orbs here, and when he comes in I'm gonna blow them up, and it almost works. Right here, I got a bunch of orbs put down, he stuns me, I break out of it, and my abilities kind of aren't working very good. I don't know what I'm doing. I run over some of my orbs, which isn't a terrible thing because they heal me, but I didn't get to do much damage to him. I get to teleport around, but that right there shows how there could be some really amazing strategy. Imagine if you had 2 or 3 druids in your group and they just fill that hallway with the healing orbs, and as another group chases in after you, you could blow them all up at the same time. That's what happened in this match when we had groups of people who were organized and in TeamSpeak. You saw that stuff happening, which I really love. Up until now, there's been some organization, right? But this sort of like synergy where you can do that stuff and like really see the difference between an organized group and just a bunch of pugs, where they can like wipe a whole group. Of course there's going to be some balancing, but overall it was just a lot of fun to see the organization, and those sorts of moves that you could pull off are going to be really exciting to see. So I'm basically by myself this time. My other teammate, I don't know where they're at. The cool thing with the Druid is they actually have some good AoE still, not just with the orbs, but with one of their damage abilities here, the lightning strike into the third part of the chain. if you hit it, it puts like it's like a debuff kind of thing on people, but the debuff shoots damage out to people around them. So it's like an AoE pulsing damage thing where they're just like damaging each other as they stay around each other. So I'm trying to throw that in there, just staying far away, and having range on this character as well as being able to teleport is pretty amazing, because you can stay at range, you can do some damage, people run up to you, you can just teleport away, and you can even teleport across gaps. So even if people are chasing you, you can get a lot of distance on them. It's a lot of fun. It's a ton of fun, and if you can't tell, I really am excited about where the game is headed, where the direction is, how much of the work they're doing. I throw out I think it's like a lightning tornado thing here. It's pretty sweet looking. It sounds awesome too. But just all the work they're doing, it's really coming together. It's not done, right? Not by a long shot, but I really love the work that they're doing. I love the gameplay, how group play is working, solo play. I'm gonna fight this guy 1v1, and I'm trying to teleport over there right now, and right when I'm about to teleport, he just smashes my face and then I die. But I'm gonna have a whole bunch more videos for you. This is just a quick first look at the Druid. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, if you think this is a class archetype you would play, and I'll have some more videos for you as soon as possible.